Have you ever had the feeling of being present, but not exactly seen? Of being there, in the same room, in the same family, at the same dinner table, yet feeling like your presence was never the center of anything? Maybe you were the middle child. And maybe for a long time you heard things like, "You're the calm one. You always figure things out. At least you don't cause trouble. Your sibling needs more right now. You understand, right?" And you did. You always understood. In the family dynamic, there was the oldest, the responsible one, the example, the one carrying expectations. And there was the youngest, the protected one, the one who needed care, the one still learning. And you? You were there in the middle. Not the first to experience everything, not the last to receive extra attention. You often became the adaptable one. People on the outside might even say that middle children are too independent, a bit distant, mysterious, hard to read. Some even use labels like the forgotten one, the silent rebel, or the invisible one. And maybe you felt the weight of that. Maybe you've wondered why it's so easy for you to step into the background, or why you avoid competing for attention, or why during conflict you prefer to observe rather than impose yourself. But there is something deeper behind all of this. Being the middle child doesn't start as a conscious decision. It's not a choice to become more observant. It's not a planned strategy to be more self-sufficient. It starts early, very early. There's a concept in psychology called relational adaptation. In simple terms, it describes how we learn in childhood which role to occupy within a system in order to maintain balance. Every family functions like a small emotional system. When the oldest already occupies the role of the responsible one and the youngest occupies the role of the protected one, the middle child's brain learns, almost silently, "I need to find my space." And often that space becomes neutrality. Another important concept is identity formation by contrast. When we grow up surrounded by comparisons, even subtle ones, our identity begins to shape itself not only around who we are, but around who we need not to be. If the oldest is the academic one, maybe you become the creative one. If the youngest is the sensitive one, maybe you become the rational one. If both fight for attention, maybe you learn not to fight. Not because you don't need it, but because someone has to keep the balance. And this ability, this emotional awareness, this social radar you developed, is not weakness, it's adaptation. But the story doesn't end there. Over time, the middle child grows up, but something remains. The tendency to handle things alone, the ease of withdrawing when feeling ignored, the habit of observing before speaking, and at the same time, a difficult feeling to explain. I need to prove my value, but I don't want to ask for attention. This happens because for years you learned that your place was the in-between one, not the main focus. Not the most vulnerable either. There is a phenomenon called emotional hyper-independence. It doesn't mean you don't need others. It means you learned that asking might not be the best strategy. So you become competent, resilient, self-sufficient. But inside, there is sometimes a quiet question. If I stop being strong, would anyone notice? Middle children often develop deep empathy because they spent years reading micro-expressions, understanding dynamics, sensing who is upset before anyone says a word. They become natural mediators, peacemakers, attentive observers. But they may also carry a subtle feeling of displacement, as if they belong but not completely. And here is something important. Being the middle child is not being the forgotten one. It is being the one who learned to exist between forces. You developed flexibility.
You learned to negotiate. You learned to adapt to different personalities. While one extreme learns leadership and the other learns secure dependence, you learn balance. And balance is a rare skill. Maybe you were never the most celebrated, but you are probably the one who keeps relationships functioning, the one who knows to listen, the one who can move between groups, the one who understands nuance. The world needs that energy. What you call invisibility is often refined sensitivity. What you call staying to the side may actually be quiet social intelligence. And maybe the real shift is not trying to be seen more, but recognizing that you always had a strength others don't even realize. Because the middle child is not the one who got stuck in the middle. It's the one who learned to see both sides. And that changes everything.